Good morning, my lovely tens. Right, buddies, today's lesson is going to be a great big practice lesson that involves switching between sine law and cosine law. So you've practiced each of these kind of individually in their own lessons, and now is the hard task of having to combine the two together. You probably don't need to write anything down at the moment because this will already be in your books. But if you want it handy dandy, maybe if you want this handy and close somewhere where you can see, maybe do write this down actually then. So here's sine law. That's as you know it. So it's A over sine A, B over sine B, C over sine C, or the other way around for angles. So this is better for size, this is better for angles. You don't actually have to rearrange them. It's the same formula, just rearranged. And same deal with cosine laws. This is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Take 2ab cos c. That's the side version, and this is the angle version. So nothing new there. This is what you've practiced for the last two lessons. But now what's going to happen is I'm going to give you a mix of questions that some of the triangles need sine law and some of them need cosine law, but it won't tell you which is which. You'll have to figure it out on your own. So pretty much the new thing I'm going to tell you today is just this. Sine law, so basically it's triangles, right? So they've got three angles in them. They've got up to three angles in them, one in each corner. And sine law is the angly one, and cosine law is the not angly one. So here's what I'd get you to jot down. You use sine law if there are two or more angles given in your question, okay? So if you see two angles or more, even if one of them is unknown, like if as long as it's just labeled, then it's sine law. If there's either zero angles in the question or one angle, then it's cosine law. Cool beans, buddy buddies? So two or more angles, sine law. Zero or one angle, cosine law. Happy days. So we're going to do just a couple of them together, and then I'm going to give you guys a chance to practice. But all I really wanted you to do with these is just to have a little identify as to what you think rule you'd use for each of these, okay? So first things first, let's look at this 1b question here. Have a little look, my buddies. Sine law or cosine law? Now remember, if it's got zero angles or one angle, it's cosine law. If it's got two angles or three angles, it's sine law. So what's this one have? That's right, buddies. It's only got one angle in it, which means this one is going to be the cosine law. Okay, check out number 2b then. Let's just have a little look there. Is it sine law or is it cosine law? Well, yeah, that's it. It's got two angles. Two given angles. Actually, you secretly know the third one as well, because you could take it away from 180. But it's got two angles, buddies. That means this one is the sine law. Okay, on to the third. What do you reckon for the third? Well, check it out. We've got this angle, which is given, but this one's unknown. Do we still count it? Well, yeah, we do. Highlight that one. You just ignore the ones that aren't labeled, but you do highlight the ones that are labeled. So is this cosine law or sine law? That's it, it's sine law again. Cool, because it's got two or more angles. And the last one, buddies, if you look at the angles in this last one, it's only just got that one angle down there. We don't even know what it is, so it could be, in theory, zero angles given, but it's like one angle that's labeled in it. So is this sine law or cosine law? Well, that's it, it's cosine. Okay, do you guys feel, then, you've got the hang of, you've got the handle on, if it's sine law or if it's cosine law? Pretty much, zero or one angle, cosine. Two or three angles, sine. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson because that's the quickest lesson ever. But I'm afraid I'm not going to let you off the hook so easy. Let's do 2b and 4b together just to be sure, okay? So I want to just make sure you're good at it. I don't want to leave anybody hanging. So like when I give you some work, I don't want you to think, oh, I have no idea how to do this. So a little bit of a quick recap just to make sure. Let's do these two on the right just because there's a space for me to write the answers over to the side. And here we go. In this 2b one, this top one that we're about to do, it said that we were going to use sine law. So you already determined that we're using sine law on it. And here we go. Let's do it. Do you remember how sine law works? Well, here's how it works again, buddies. It's the one with the opposite pairs. It's this one up here, okay? It's this rule just here. We are after a side length in this one, so we'd like to use the top. Yeah, we want to use the one where the side lengths are on the top. So here we go. It works with opposite pairs, don't forget. So here's one of the opposite pairs. So it's going to be y over sine 42. equals, and on this side, the other opposite pair is this one, 13 over sine 52. Do you remember? So from a couple lessons ago? Sweet! Okay, well then all you gotta do is you're gonna just get the y on its own, change the subject so it's on its own, times both sides by sine 42, times sine 42, times sine 42, and you go canceling those majestic things out. You're left with y equals 13 sine 42 over sine 52. Happy days. When you're like that, when you get to this point, you're just going to do a calculator job. So fraction button, 13 sine 42 over sine 52. Sine 52, close bracket, equals 11.0. I got 11.0 centimeters as your final answer. So I hope that you have your head around that. Do you remember? Do you remember that from last couple lessons ago? Okay, sweet. And also, I'm going to give you guys a bit more time next week too. Hopefully I can see you in person then, and we'll feel out how everybody is doing on this. Cool. Right, and the second one, let's just do this bottom question too, because it's a bit harder, it's a bit wonkier. You already said the second one was going to be cosine law. That's because it only had one angle in it, right? So step one is always determining if it's sine law or cosine law. It only has one angle in, so it's definitely cosine law. Cool. Now, as we're after the angle, we're going to want to use this formula here, okay? The bottom one, the angle one, just because it's already ready to go. Now, if you're like me, or you'll soon be like me, and you're going to take it at A level and stuff, if you really, really like maths, pretty much I have only memorized the side versions of each of these. So I'm happy to just do inline substitution and figure out what the answer is. But you don't have to do that, and we've got this rearranged anyway. May as well use it. So here we go. Cos C is a squared plus b squared. Take c squared. Take 2ab. Now the hard part of this formula, one more time, just to remind you from last lesson, is the important thing is that the c's have to be opposite to each other. Okay, so c, it makes a difference which one c is, and it has to match up with the opposite angle. So if you check it out on this one here, let's switch to a color that's distinctly different. Let's go light blue. Can you see that the angle that we're after there is called x, and the side opposite is 54, which means the c is going to be an x and the little c is going to be 54. So you ready? It's going to be cos x equals, and it's a squared plus b squared take c squared, so it's the other two sides, 11.7 squared, take 15.2 squared, plus 15.2 squared, take 5.4 squared. 5.4 and the x are the important ones because they're opposite to one another. Underneath, it's 2ab, which is 211.7 and 15.2. Now, I'm going to go right for the final answer, but I'm going to speak it out how I got it for you. So if you're really posh, if you want to be really snazzy, push Shift Cos right now to get it into your calculator for you. But if you don't want to be snazzy, we're just going to push the fraction button first. Fraction button first. 11.7 squared plus 15.2 squared. Take away 5.4 squared, all on top of 2, open bracket, 11.7, close bracket, open bracket, 15.2, close bracket, equals, and you get an awkward number, which is wrong. I've made a mistake. Which is wrong. Oh dear. What did I do wrong? I didn't put, oh yeah, okay. I got 6.5, which I know is wrong. I accidentally forgot to put an 11 in the bottom. I put 1.7, not 11.7. So sorry about that. Let me just fix it, buddies. Oops. Oh, I have to type it over again. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Fraction button. 11.7 squared plus 15.2 squared. Take away 5.4 squared underneath. It's 2, 11.7 and 15.2 equals. That's better. Okay, I got 0.9524, which is clearly not an angle. So here's what I'm going to do. Shift button and then cos to get close to the -1. Then push ants, close bracket, equals, should have got 17.7. So 17.7 degrees as your final answer. So that's in a nutshell how you do sine law and cosine law again. And that's all I want you to focus on for this lesson, okay? Is just using them interchangeably. The only extra step I've given you is determining which one's which. Cosine for 0 or 1 angles, and sine for 2 or 3 angles. Cool. So activity 1 that I'm going to get you to do is this, mixed trigonometry questions. Do you see how it just doesn't say what they are? So you'll have to have a look at each one to determine which version that you're going to use of each thing. So that's fine. Like the first one I can tell you is cosine law, because remember, one angle. Yeah. So happy days. The third one, what's it going to be? Yeah, that's it. Sine law, because it's got 2 angles. So you're proper boss at this, my buddies. So yeah, work through this. Even try these word questions at the bottom. That's step 1. I need you to accomplish this lesson. So this is the one thing that I get that's kind of like the must do it thing. So I'd like this done and perfect for me. When you finish early, because I think you will. I don't think that this will take the whole lesson. I've also got this for you to try, which is a bit more of a challenge. It's a trigonometry pile-up, so it's the same as the tower of trig that we started with. It's really quite tricky, and it also includes SOHCAHTOA, if you've got right angle triangles, or Pythagoras' theorem, which is also allowed for right angle triangles. And essentially, you start at the bottom, so step 1 is going to be Pythagoras' theorem to get this length, and you work your way up until you can tell me what y is, and until you can tell me what x is. This is way harder. I'd like you to try it if you get finished early, but I would also, if you don't get it done, it's okay, because I think that we will do it in class time too next week, because I really like this one. And I've got some other trig extension for you to do next week too. So happy days, my buddies. I hope that lesson was okay. I hope that you get the idea around it. 0 or 1 angles is cosine law. 2 or 3 angles is sine law. And that's pretty much it. When you get it all done, you don't need to submit this one, but you do need to get it written in your book and stuck in and stuff. That's what I would suggest you do. And that's it for me. So see you soon, buddies. Yeah, see you next time. Bye, buddies!